Thanks for being with us. I'm Rosemary Connors. The tornado watch is in effect for the entire region until 10 o'clock this evening. After a sunny afternoon on this first day of April, the storms return tonight and they could cause some damage to neighborhoods. NBC10 First Alert meteorologist Michelle Rotella is tracking this threat of severe weather. Michelle?
Yeah, Rosemary, we've been tracking this. We had a tornado watch that was issued, and now I'm also with Marvin Gomez, who is just telling me now that we now have a tornado warning that has been issued. Actually, for a cell there that has been in Maryland, Easton, Maryland, and then it was tracking its way to the east. And we'll go ahead and we'll work our way down. We have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings that are ongoing. Here's the tornado warning right now. That is for Kent County. That is also for Sussex County. So this was just issued by the National Weather Service. We were watching this cell closely. We actually even saw some rotation that was with the cell. We thought maybe we could see a possible tornado. Now at this point, I'm pretty sure, Marvin, it's just radar indicated rotation. The last check that we had at the velocity signature, it looked kind of weak. But again, if you are within these red lines in this box, this is what we're saying right here. If you live in Ellendale, Milford, Slaughter Beach area, Milton, Bridgeville, Greenwood, Collins Pine Acres, Redden as well, these areas that we are talking about, you need to seek shelter immediately. Go to the lowest portion of your home. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. This was just issued, as we mentioned, and I believe, Marvin, if we query this one more time, we saw that this tornado warning, basically, it goes until, what, 6:30 that we have right there? 6:30, yeah. And again, that's for Kent and Sussex County. Reporting hail up to an inch in diameter with this as well. And let's get the track on this, Marvin. I just want to know what the latest is with what the speed is. I mean, all of these storms at this point have been tracking mainly east, and they've been racing so quickly at 50 plus miles per hour, some of them 60. So the latest with this, Marvin, what are you seeing with that?
Yeah, Michelle, this is a tornado warning that we have in place, as you mentioned, and it is currently moving this cell to the east at about 50 miles per hour. So we can clearly see some of the locations that are basically in the path of this potential tornado. As you mentioned, this particular cell has been showing signs of rotation within the last 5 to 10 minutes. And right now that it is currently moving across central Delaware, well, we know that this system will continue to slide towards the east. And whether or not we have a tornado, treat this as if there is a tornado. Do not go outside. Do not try to investigate for yourself whether or not that there is a funnel cloud hitting the ground, because you never know. Sometimes with this type of situations, we have rain-wrapped tornadoes, and you may just see a bunch of rain and you may think it's just rain, but in reality, we could be talking about a tornado currently on the ground. So Michelle, 6:09, that is the first time frame that we have here across Allendale, and as you'll see, there are many other locations as well that will need to take shelter here pretty soon.
Yeah, Reynolds Mill and also Milton as well. So this was a tornado warning that's just issued. If we back up a little bit, we can basically see we've been following this line here of storms. This was the first batch of storms that was issued here. These are the severe thunderstorm warnings from Allentown stretching through Reading, Westchester, East Nottingham, Warrington as well. Heads up for our suburbs, Upper Bucks, Montgomery County as well. If you guys have a severe thunderstorm warning, now's the time to get your shoes together, get the phone chargers together, get all of those things and collect them, and then think about, where am I going to go if we have a tornado warning issued for our area? Think about where your safe place is. So this is a long line of storms that we have been watching. We knew that conditions were favorable for this. We knew that we were going to see some of these ingredients come together. Like we said, you saw the sun come out. It was a sunny afternoon. That is going to be triggering it. Also down across Delaware, this is an area that I figured that we needed to be watching, where dew points are above 60. So we have a lot of juice, if you will, in the atmosphere to it, with a lot of moisture going on, especially across southern Delaware and even down the shore as well. That's one area we'll be watching later on. So again, this was just issued about like 5-10 minutes ago by the National Weather Service. Looks like back behind it, there's still a severe thunderstorm that is there for parts of Kent County that looks down into Sussex County as well, which is where we're watching that main cell. So lightning associated with that, hail up to an inch in diameter. And again, this will go until 6:30 p.m. And this is a tornado warning. And again, most of these are racing so quickly. So it won't surprise me if we see this race its way out into the ocean there. Water spouts could be possible with some of this as rotation works its way as well. So if you are around the beach areas, if you're in Rehoboth Beach, just a heads up to you, this is just the beginning of what we're going to be watching with these storms popping up. So here we go. Velocity signature. This is really indicative of where we can see some rotation. That's pretty close to the radar site at this time, where you're kind of seeing, but you know, it does look like we are seeing just a little bit of some weak rotation where you can get some, actually, and even looking like maybe, look at the signature down here, Marvin, just to the south of Greenwood. So I'm watching this, and we have the velocity signature on is what I'm looking at here. So again, we have some of that tightly compacted rotation going on. You can see that winds are picking up. It looks like it's just to the northeast of Bridgeville. So Route 13 as well. Again, if you were in these areas, seek shelter immediately. Marvin, what are they saying on the chat?
You know what, Michelle, I am seeing right now in the chat, what I'm seeing is that there are already reports from spotters out there in the field about 3 miles west-northwest of Sycamore, Delaware County, where we are seeing that funnel actually dropped and lifted. And this is a situation where even if we have a funnel touch the ground, we can potentially see the funnel maybe lift back up, but that doesn't mean that the threat for the tornado is not over. So again, take this as a serious situation. We know that we are basically seeing those ideal and favorable conditions for those severe conditions, tornadoes in this particular area. And of course, Michelle, as you mentioned, this is not the only spot on the map. Essentially, if you live anywhere on the locations that I'm showing you here on the screen, Statenville, Hudson Pond Acres, Allendale, all of this area is where we are noticing the rotation. Everyone in the box here, everyone north across Sussex County is under a tornado warning. We have seen a funnel. I'm seeing that through the chat right now, and we know that there is the possibility for that funnel to still be there or to still come back down in case it got retreated back up in the sky. And we are seeing rotation. And of course, the green and the red here, Michelle, basically tell us the direction of where the wind is heading.
So, and that's kind of what I circled, because when you're looking at the radar site here, this is what we're tracking. Of course, you have the green that is going its way to the radar site, and you have the reds that are going away from the radar site. And the more tightly compacted that we can kind of see that wraparound, that's how we know that there's that signature. And again, just I highlighted that area that we're watching. So it does look like I am seeing what they're seeing if there was a possible funnel that was coming up and touching down. So we will continue to watch this. Let's kind of zoom out and see if we can track this again. Are we on the correlation coefficient just to see maybe if we have a debris signature? I don't see anything just yet.
Yeah, Michelle, that is correct. We're checking the correlation coefficient right now, and this is basically an indication to see if there are any objects different than the rest of what's around in the area. And that is not something that I'm seeing right now. At least there isn't a clear sign of any potential debris already lifted up in the air. However, we can clearly see not only the colors showing the intense rain associated with this particular cell, again, across North Sussex County in southern Delaware, but there is a little bit of a hook as well, Michelle. And that is something, of course, that we take very serious, because that is a clear radar indication that there is that rotation happening in the atmosphere. And I gotta say, Michelle, that overall this entire afternoon and since yesterday, we've been talking about that potential of turning of the winds with altitude in the atmosphere. And of course, we have seen the high level clouds shifting in a slightly different direction than some of the low level clouds that we are noticing across our area at the moment. But of course, this is the one spot on the map at the moment where residents need to take this seriously, need to seek shelter immediately, because this particular cell has been showing signs of rotation since the last 10 to 15 minutes now. So we know that this is going to be a particular situation that may end up, of course, registering officially a tornado. I'm not seeing any confirmed information, but again, there are already some reports here on the chat indicating that a funnel cloud has been spotted already. So again, it's enough information for everyone to take this serious and of course seek shelter immediately.
So if you're in Jefferson Crossroads, looks like the Rookery Golf Course, Cave Colony, these places that you see on your radar, on your screen, this is what we want you to do. We want you to seek shelter immediately. And with that in mind, Rosemary, I know that you're with us as well. So, you know, what can people do? Let's talk about where they can go in their homes if they are under a tornado warning.
Yeah, Michelle, just as you and Marvin are keeping a close eye on what's happening on the radar, we want to make sure our viewers have an idea of what to do if your location, your home, wherever you are this evening is within this warning area or a potential watch. If you're home, head to the basement. Stay away from higher levels of your house, not the second floor. If you don't have a basement, take shelter in a small room inside in the center of the house, maybe a closet, a bathroom. Of course, make sure to stay away from outside walls, windows, and doors. Here's more information on what to do in the case of a tornado warning. And you just saw on our first alert radar, there is a tornado warning right now for parts of our area. Go to a central room or go to the basement. If you're in a high-rise building, go to a bathroom, stay away from the windows, and of course, cover your head. Here's the difference between a tornado watch versus a warning. A watch means a tornado is possible. You should be checking the forecast for updates, monitoring the sky. Of course, we have everything on the air and on our app, and then know where you want to take shelter. A warning means you got to take action. A tornado is imminent. Take shelter now. And you just saw on First Alert Radar, as Michelle and Marvin were telling us, parts of our area, southern Delaware, there is a warning there, and there are reports of a possible funnel touching down, coming up into the sky. We do have some more information, of course, right now on the NBC10 app. That's where you can find everything. So if you can't get us on the air, if you can get us on your phone, head to the NBC10 app. That's where we will constantly update information as it comes in this evening. Let's go back to NBC10 First Alert meteorologist Michelle Rotella. And of course, we know Michelle, Marvin Gomez is also in the Weather Center helping out.
Yeah, thankful for all of you helping out here. So I just wanted to go over what you were saying, how we have watches versus warnings, right? The red that you see here highlighted for pretty much our entire area down through Delaware and then parts of eastern Maryland as well, all through Jersey as well. That's the tornado watch. And then outside of that, where you can just see some rain showers for Reading, that is also the severe thunderstorm watch. What you have highlighted here in the yellows, that is the severe thunderstorm warnings, but let's go to the tornado warning as well, because that is what is happening right now. Again, that was issued about 15 minutes ago, just as we were coming on air here on NBC10 for your 6 o'clock news, and we were talking about how we've already seen tornadoes over the past couple of days. We ourselves had a tornado warning issued for our area, and again, this is for Kent County, and this is for Sussex County, and this is moving so quickly east at 50 miles per hour. You can already see passing over the radar site there. Heads up for Milton. Really expecting that to go maybe just to the north of your area. It's really Ellendale. You're probably hearing it coming down right now. Hopefully you're in your safe space, as we've been talking about, and you have your cell phone with you, a way to receive some alerts, a way to contact someone. And as well, if you say you're in Broadkill Beach as well, or even around Georgetown, looks like maybe they just tightened up that tornado warning area. So again, Ellendale, Jefferson Crossroads, Drawbridge as well, Green Hill 631 for you, which at that time we'll see if they extend this tornado warning, but for now it's going to expire around 6:30. But this was one that Marvin and I were watching in particular because we could kind of see like a hook shape that was developing with it. It was very intense with the precipitation, and it even had some of that rotation with it. So Marvin, that was pretty much what we were talking about when you were reporting that the National Weather Service chat was saying that there was a funnel that was coming down and then lifting back up.
Yeah, Michelle, and I gotta tell you that as of right now, I am seeing a confirmed tornado located over Allendale right now, or about 7 miles north of Georgetown, moving to the east at about 5 miles per hour. So we are talking about an immediate threat across the area here. So if you are near Allendale, if you're located towards the east of Allendale, know that this supercell is heading your way. There is a tornado, and on top of that, of course, we're talking about the tornado as the big threat, but there are also reports of hail with this particular cell. So even if you're not in the direct path of this tornado, know that anyone driving out there on the roads could encounter some of these large hailstones over an inch in diameter. So we're talking about hail that, of course, could cause damage. So this is not the time for you to go outdoors to investigate, to really get a picture of the situation. Make sure you seek shelter immediately. We know that whenever there are tornadic situations such as this one, we get to see the debris lifted up in the air, and whenever that is the case, the debris can essentially fly miles away. We know that that could, of course, those debris could act as a projectile for anyone outside, for anyone that is currently not seeking shelter. So let everybody know across southern Delaware, Sussex County, on the northern side of the region here, this is a location where there is a confirmed tornado. And of course, we are getting reports of trees and wires down near Seashore Highway Route 404 and Dublin Hill Road as well. And that is most likely debris and damage caused by the tornado. And of course, this is all estimated by the radar that it currently, of course, is showing us some of the rotation. I know, Michelle, you got the velocity there. And of course, we see the big contrast in those areas in red, those areas in green. The green indicating all the wind, all the particles, the rain particles in this particular instance that are heading towards the radar, while the red, of course, indicate any action or any of those rain droplets moving away from the radar. So it gives an indication of the contrasting direction that we have because of, I like those arrows, Michelle, because of the direction that the wind, the circulation that we are noticing within this particular cell.
Yeah, so this is Ellendale that we're focused on. And as I was kind of highlighting here, we were talking about the inflow and the outflow of these cells in particular. So, and you can kind of see that rotation there. So again, this is a confirmed tornado by the National Weather Service. This is no longer radar indicated. So if you are within these red lines, we want you to seek shelter immediately. And again, this is still going until 6:30 p.m. And let's see if we can get back to, let's do the radar signature and just see what we're seeing. Wow. Okay. So when we kind of pause this, Marvin, I want to go ahead and pause that if we can, just to kind of show, there we go, with the radar. So lots of lightning also associated with this. You can see the heavy rain threat. Jefferson Crossroads, heads up for you. That's kind of where I was just kind of circling there. Anderson Crossroads as well, where we're getting this thick, heavy rain band. And probably you couldn't even, Marvin was mentioning, a lot of these can be rain wrapped at this time. So again, so it looks like that's Wapples for 624. If you are in these areas, that tornado, which is confirmed, is heading in your direction. You need to seek shelter. Go to the lowest portion of your home. Go to a basement. Find a bathroom. Make sure that you're away from any windows. I know it sounds a little ridiculous, but find some sort of a helmet or a pot, something that you can kind of cover your head with in case there is debris. We've been getting reports just in general of winds with the severe thunderstorms with gusts of 60 miles per hour. But this being a confirmed tornado, we could have higher winds than that impacted. So again, we have a first alert for our entire area. And again, that's for the damaging winds and the tornadoes that we're seeing right now across the region, the hail and the very heavy rain that is also associated with it. So, okay, let's go ahead, and we have the wide look right now. Really, this is just the beginning of what we may continue to see. A few more supercells pop up. Conditions are so favorable. So again, if you're in that red box, please do seek shelter. But Rosemary, I know that other people might be unfortunately encountering a tornado warning themselves. What can they do?
Yeah, Michelle, let's just go back over that for people who may just be tuning in to what we're reporting right now. Tornado warning, Kent and Sussex counties. Here's what you need to know. If you're home, head to the basement, stay away from higher levels of your house, get out of the second floor. If you don't have a basement, take shelter inside of a small room inside the center of your house. Think about a closet, think about a bathroom. If there's a tub, even better. Make sure to stay away from the outside walls, the windows, the doors. Here's what to do in case of a tornado warning that may be coming. So you may be in the watch and it may go to a warning. Go to a central room, basement, high-rise building. Go to the bathroom. Stay away from the windows. Cover your head. Michelle said it just a moment ago. Grab a pot, grab a helmet, grab something just to make sure that you're protecting your head. We do have all this information on the NBC10 app as well. Michelle and Marvin, I know you're working back there in the First Alert Weather Center. I want to bring you back in. So real quickly, let's talk about this. So the difference between warning and watch. Warning, it's happening, take action. Right. And watch, of course, you may change to a warning, obviously, as the storm and the system is moving toward you.
If you have a watch for your area, you need to take it just as seriously as you would a warning, because watch, like you said, meaning conditions are favorable for that. We had all the ingredients come together. I mentioned yesterday when we issued the first alert, you'd have rain in the morning and then you'd have this break, and the sun came out this afternoon, and you can almost kind of like see where we had the sunshine and still across South Jersey at this time. And so we had all this heating going up. Temperatures were above 70 degrees. And then on top of that, our winds are coming in from the southwest, and they are just so gusty. And so with the wind coming in from the southwest, it pulls in all this moisture. So our dew points are in the 60s, just really all the conditions coming together to make the environment favorable for that tornadic development, which is what we're seeing right now.
And let me ask you about that. So as you and Marvin are learning, there is a confirmed tornado in southern Delaware. How do we know it's confirmed at this point? Give us some background into how you guys are getting that information.
All right, so Marvin, I know you've been looking at National Weather Service chat, and sometimes we have trained spotters that are in locations that can identify what they're seeing. At first, it was the confirmed reports of the funnel going up and coming down, going up and coming down. And then Marvin, I know we've been watching the cell in particular, heads up for Reynolds Mill and Roadkill Beach, but what were they saying exactly that they saw?
Yeah, Michelle, one of the notifications here was the fact that there was a funnel that did touch down across this particular area in northern Sussex County in Delaware. And of course, we know that with this particular system, just the look of it on radar, I mean, we've been tracking this particular cell now for about half an hour. And it first started as a regular thunderstorm that started to develop, and then it started to acquire a little bit more of a comma shape. And that's when we know that there is a little bit of turning happening in the atmosphere that is helping this particular thunderstorm start to spin. And of course, we showed that additional product with the velocity. This is another product by the radar that allows us to really tell where the wind is coming from and where the wind is heading to with regards to the particular location of the radar. So we are able to see the rotation associated with this particular cell. And we, of course, are starting to see reports from multiple agencies, people out there, trained spotters reporting damage from trees and wires down because of this potential tornado, well, this confirmed tornado, I should say, that many have already seen, and they're starting to report some damage from it as well.
And for what I can tell, and you can confirm with me on chat, I believe this has probably been dropped for Kent County, but this is going to continue on now for Sussex County, and it looks like it extends until 6:45. Looks like the cell has kind of shifted a little bit to the northeast, if you will, and maybe it's going to be tracking out. But if that's the case, and this is tracking out to the northeast going over the water, heads up for parts of Cape May County, because really we're going to see this direction here from the southwest, and then it shifts right up in there to the northeast.
And let's be clear, Michelle and Marvin, I mean, obviously the two of you are focused on these warnings, these watches, confirmed tornadoes, etc. No matter which way you slice it, this weather is severe. Everyone should be inside.
Everyone should be inside. If, again, you know, we've been trying to alert people, warn people, let people know that we do have the tornado watches, the severe thunderstorm watches, and now this is the first tornado warning that we have. The first one that we have has been extended there, is at Prime Hook Beach. It's pretty much the one area, heads up for you, that tornado warning now includes your area as well. So Ellendale, it's, again, these are racing so fast. They're at 50 to 60 miles per hour. So at this point, it's probably beyond you, and again, working its way, continuing to the northeast. And so lots of lightning associated with that. Go ahead and take off the tracker. Marvin, you want to go ahead and put the satellite and radar back on for me? Okay, there we go. All right, so let's kind of see if we can clear this out and go over what we've been following here. So we mentioned Bucks County and Montgomery County. You guys had a severe thunderstorm warning that was issued. We've been following this linear line here, and so even if you don't get a tornado warning, these winds can come as straight line winds, and sometimes it can be confusing whether or not did a tornado roll through here, or, you know, did we have straight line wind damage? And so that's why usually I'm sure the National Weather Service will send out a survey team to see if that was an actual confirmed tornado as we go on through our Sunday or even on Monday, just to kind of see, did the trees fall in all one direction? Were there rotation with the trees, and how this kind of went about? So again, this is mainly coming out of Northampton County. It's pretty much done for you, probably just some rain showers, looking like it's Interstate 78 through Interstate 476. And then heads up for Wilmington, Newcastle County. I could see this line probably working its way across your area here. One of the other things we'll be watching to see if this line starts to bow a little bit, because that can show the advancement of those strong gusty winds. So East Nottingham, you're probably experiencing some very gusty winds. And if you do have this severe thunderstorm warning that is right now issued for your area, keep in mind, you also have the tornado watch. So at any time, we could see this develop into a tornadic event. You could have some of that rotation as well. So Newark as well, heads up for you. We mentioned that this line is continuing to track its way east at 50 miles per hour. And again, these severe thunderstorm, Marvin, how long are those across the Lehigh Valley, pressing into our suburbs, going until?
Yeah, Michelle, we're noticing with some of these severe thunderstorms currently moving over towards the east, these watches continue to expand in some locations. So in this particular case, we're seeing Bucks County, Lehigh, Montgomery, and Northampton counties. This particular thunderstorm continues to move over towards the east. And I am noticing, of course, as you mentioned, the damaging winds to be perhaps one of the main concerns here with this particular cell. And of course, some of the storm reports already coming in indicate that we have seen some damage already in a couple of spots in the Pennsylvania suburbs. And of course, in southern Delaware, there is that report of the confirmed tornado. Now, it is possible also to see some large hail as well. At least there have been reports of hailstones about 3/4 of an inch. And this is for Chester in Delaware and parts of Montgomery County. And this is going to be with that severe thunderstorm warned system that we have a little bit farther north across the Pennsylvania suburbs as well.
All right, let's shift south, see what's going on with the current tornado warning that we've been talking about. We know that it expired for Kent County. You can still kind of see that it's still part of it there. But what we're really focused on is where the cell is now. Actually zooming in, it looks like lots of lightning associated with these cells, but that cell in particular is working its way across the water. Wouldn't surprise me if then we see, some people say they see water spouts, you know, with the rotation going on, it wouldn't take much to get a little bit of a weak water spout. So Broadkill Beach, you're seeing very heavy rain at this time, lots of lightning associated with that too. It's to the south of Slaughter Beach as well. You still have this tornado warning that is ongoing until 6:45. So what do we tell you to do? You know, grab your phone, turn on the app, stream us. You can listen to us, hear us, or if you can turn up the volume on your TV and then go to your safe space. You know, make sure that you are in a location that is safe for you and your family. Looks like you're still seeing a decent amount of rotation right here around Broadkill Beach. So this is the velocity signature, Marvin, if I'm correct, that we're looking at here to detect that tightly compacted rotation of those greens and those reds. Again, how bright are they? How tightly compacted are they? And it does look like we're getting some weak rotation, which is most likely why we still have this tornado warning that has been issued, correct?
Yeah, Michelle, that is correct. And as you mentioned, not only do we have this particularly tornado warned cell, but there are reports coming in here from train spotters on the chat as well of different size hailstones. So one of the most recent ones that just came in a few seconds ago showing dime size hail over in Stanton, Delaware. And this is, of course, just from a couple of moments ago. We know that this particular tornado warned cell will continue to move over towards the east at about 50 miles per hour. So it's very impressive to highlight, Michelle, the speed that this particular cell has been moving over towards the east, because these are not thunderstorms that are here to stick around for a long period of time. These are thunderstorms that are quickly racing towards the east. And of course, this is something that we've been highlighting for you here on NBC10, the fact that the environment was going to be ideal for the development of a tornado or two. I do want to emphasize, Michelle, that of course we're keeping a close eye at this particular location, but that tornado watch is in effect for a large portion of New Jersey, all of Delaware, and multiple counties across Pennsylvania as well. So let me see if I can get you here that particular graphic to actually show where and who will be under that tornado watch for the next couple of hours, because this is just one, of course, one alert that we are noticing in effect right now all the way until 10 p.m. And Michelle, I guess the question is, who isn't inside of this tornado watch?
You know, I mentioned that these were racing so fast, so it doesn't surprise me that, you know, the Lehigh Valley is no longer included in this tornado watch. I think that once these storms race their way through, we're going to see some stability in the atmosphere from these storms, kind of like the cooling off of the atmosphere, if you will. And so once that happens, then we could quickly, hopefully, eventually see some of these counties get dropped. But for now, I mean, you're looking at pretty much North Jersey, and then points on south. You have Ocean County, Mercer County, points on north, and then south all the way down the shore as well, going to Delaware, again, eastern Maryland, where we saw Easton Maryland had a cell that worked its way over, and that's the cell that we've been tracking across Kent County and Sussex County. That's the tornado warning that we're still seeing. So getting smaller and smaller. We want to see that. We like to see that. It's working its way over the water. Again, I did zoom in at one point to this just to give a heads up, because I know that this is going on until 6:45, and we did detect some of that rotation. As Marvin mentioned, this was confirmed. So it looks like Prime Hook Beach and then Roadkill Beach is what we were looking at as well.
And Michelle, sorry to interrupt you. I am noticing here another notification with regards to this particular cell. Once again, getting a confirmation of a tornado on the ground located near Milton, or about 12 miles to the northeast of Georgetown, moving to the east at about 35 miles per hour. So there is something different here from the last time that we gave that we gave this update with particularly with this tornado warning system, is that the speed of the overall cell has diminished a little bit. So yes, we're still talking about a fast moving cell, but earlier we were talking a system moving 50 miles towards the east. Right now, the latest update, yes, is that this system has slowed down. The cell has slowed down a little bit. And I will say, Michelle, I know you mentioned that the organization of this particular cell was very well defined earlier. Seems like we're losing a little bit of the definition right now, but nevertheless, there is still rotation there, and this is still considered a tornado warned storm, currently moving towards the east at about 35 miles per hour. And not only are we getting reports from tornadoes, but I'm noticing here another notification in the National Weather Service chat indicating some hailstones at about an inch in diameter. So even if you're not in the direct path of this tornado, know that you can have those impacts from hail, especially anyone driving out there. So this is not a scenario that's ideal for anyone inside or outside. Anyone driving, of course, not the best time for anyone to be outdoors.
Yeah, even if it's not a direct impact, the winds, the damaging winds that we are looking at, and even beyond this, because we do have a wind advisory until 2 a.m., that is just going to be something that is going to stay with us. Quickly wanted to mention that we are looking at the velocity signature once again, hoping that this quickly can go over water, but as Marvin mentioned, it's slowed down. So Oyster Rocks, I've been watching you. Looks like you're seeing some of those stronger winds as that rotation kind of passed now to the northeast of your area. Green Hill, it's to the northwest. Roadkill Beach, it's now to your east. So again, we'll be watching this, but I know, Rosemary, you're with us as well. So, I do expect maybe to get a couple more of these tornado warnings. So again, we want to remind people, what can you do if a tornado warning is issued for your area?
Yeah, so Michelle, we'll just bring our viewers back in on this and just give a couple quick points here, just so you know. And if you're watching us perhaps on the NBC10 app, stay with us on the app. Of course, we are on the air as well. If you're home, head to the basement. Stay away from the higher levels of your house. Stay away from the first floor, second floor. If you don't have a basement and you have to be on the first floor, take shelter inside of a small room inside the center of your house. Think about a closet. Think about a bathroom. Stay away from the outside walls, the windows, the doors. Cover your head. And I just want to point out too, Michelle and Marvin, that we've been seeing quite a bit of activity on Twitter of people who are in that area of southern Delaware taking, images as safely as they can, either images, still pics, or video of what appears to be funnel clouds. Obviously, we recommend everybody
stay in.
Do not worry about the video and pictures. Please do not worry about it. But we are seeing some of that pop up on social media.
Yeah.
Rosemary and Michelle, I have to tell you that we have a new tornado warning that has been issued for, this is southern Pennsylvania, for Newcastle County in Delaware and Chester County in Pennsylvania, and this is until 7 o'clock. Again, this is a newly warned supercell that we are currently tracking right here, Michelle. I don't know if you can see it clearly better. Of course,
I see that.
We are noticing this, and you mentioned, Michelle.
Michelle
mentioned if we get any kinks, if we get any little fragments of the line that will be out of shape, we could have the development of this particular tornado, and it's already happening. It's already there, Michelle.
Yeah, so I want to go ahead and let me see if I can bring this radar back and then just kind of like pause that right there, if you will, Marvin, for me, because I want to zoom into that area in general. This is the one that we're watching. How will you kind of get this bowing out? Basically, that's what we're following here, because that means your winds are just gusting out ahead of this storm. Look at the pinks indicated with that extremely heavy rain going down. Let's also go ahead and query this so we can give everyone a heads up of where we have our new tornado warning. There we go. All right, so this is for Chester. This is for Newcastle County. This is a new tornado warning that was just issued by the National Weather Service, and this will now go until 7 p.m. You have hail looking like, what is it? Is it penny-sized hail, quarter-sized hail, Marvin, that they're reporting with this cell?
Right now, Michelle, I'm not actually seeing any information with regards to hail, but of course we know that actually, you know what?
It looks like it's capable of producing some hail.
Correct. You know what? I see it now. There's a lot of text coming in here, and 3/4 of an inch. That is the number that we are getting from the National Weather Service. And of course, this is just yet another situation that will be active until 7 o'clock Eastern time.
All right, so I turned on the velocity signature because I needed to see, you know, why was this tornado warning issued? What are we looking at here? So again, velocity is just a way that we can detect if there's rotation. If you remember with the Kent County, Sussex County one in Delaware that we were following, it was a little bit lighter. It looked a little weaker in rotation. Look how bright this is. So again, let's kind of zoom in here. This is just to the south of East Nottingham that we're looking at. This area in particular, the more tightly compacted this area is. So rising sun, heads up for you. Calvert, heads up for you. I'll go ahead and erase that circle so you can see Barnes Corner, Chrome as well, West Nottingham, this area in general. And as we mentioned, Chester County, these areas, please seek shelter immediately. You've been listening, you've been hearing Rosemary tell you what to do in the event if a tornado warning was issued for our area. This is the second one that we have now seen pop up across this region, and this is a nasty line of storms that we've been following here. So again, we'll track this out for you and time this out. So I'm imagining, Marvin, again, that the movement of this, it must be east.
35, yes, it is moving to the east at about 35 miles per hour, and this right here does show those particular locations that have to seek shelter in the next couple of seconds. Immediately, of course, if you are over in Calvert, because we're talking about a tornado warning system that is most likely currently moving over your location.
Okay, so Calvert, that's 637. That's pretty much right about now. Fair Hill, 647. And then also as we get to Pine Creek, 703, Ellesmere as well for you, 712. So again, let's go ahead and query this one so we can see what the latest information with this tornado warning. And so then this was for Newcastle and Chester County. So this will go until 7 p.m. Again, if you are within these red lines, you do want to go to the lowest portion of your home, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. I've been saying it sounds like a little kind of crazy, if you will, to grab something to cover your head with. Grab your shoes as well, just in case the tornado does get confirmed. Marvin will keep us up to date on that. He's checking the National Weather Service chat to see if we do get confirmation. We know there was a confirmed one down across Delaware as well. So now we're following this new cell, and again, that looks like pretty nasty. So just want to turn on the velocity signature here and maybe just zoom out a little bit, kind of walk ourselves through what we're seeing here.
I will say, Michelle, that you know, right now we only have two counties, one in Pennsylvania and one across Delaware within this tornado warned cell. However, based on the direction, based on the history of some of the other storms we have been tracking this afternoon, I think everyone in the Wilmington area needs to be very vigilant of this particular cell, because although Wilmington at the moment is not under a tornado warning, if this particular cell that we're talking about right now continues to keep its intensity, its strength, after 7 o'clock, we may have an extension of this tornado warning into this highly populated area. So again, Wilmington, you're not under a tornado warning at the moment. However, if this particular cell, if that particular circle that Michelle highlighted there for you, if that particular area continues to stay organized, well-defined, and racing towards the east at about 35 miles per hour, I could see an extension of this particular warning. So again, we just have to be very vigilant and know that Wilmington might have an extension of this potential tornado. Right now, so far, we know this is a radar indicated tornado radar indicated tornado. There is that rotation, and this particular storm is producing hailstones and can produce even more at about 3/4 of an inch. And this is going to be the case across northern Delaware, southern Pennsylvania, right there in between the state line. I mean, Michelle, we can almost say that this particular tornado is drawing the state line.
Yeah, just to the north of Oakwood. Okay, I know we were talking about this, and if you are in these locations, we do want you to get to your safe place right now. Rosemary, though, I'm hearing word that we have some video from the tornado that was confirmed. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we've been watching this on social media. Obviously, people have been posting videos and some still images. This comes to us from Bridgeville, Sussex County, Delaware, and you can see what appears to be a funnel. We got this from Cameron Goff, who posted it to Twitter. He says his father is the one who took this video in their front yard. Cameron Goff, by the way, just checking him out on LinkedIn, and we've been obviously in communication with him to use this video. He has his Bachelor of Science in Meteorology, works as a weather and climate consultant for Science Foundation down south. So obviously he and his family are keyed into this and tuned into this severe weather. We certainly are not recommending anybody go out and get video.
No.
In fact, for any areas that are under this tornado warning, and certainly Michelle and Marvin, you have been making this very clear to our viewers, I will reiterate it. Tornado warning, it means take action now. In other words, seek shelter. So if you are in Sussex, Newcastle, Chester counties, go somewhere safe. What do? Think about it. Go to a central room or basement. Stay out of the first floor, second floor if you can. If you're in a high-rise building or an apartment or condo building, go to a bathroom. Get inside the tub. Stay away from windows. Cover your head if you've got a helmet, if you've got a hard hat, if you have a pot, a pan, whatever you can to protect yourself, as there may be some debris, major debris that could come in from these systems. And just to be clear, Michelle and Marvin, this is moving so quickly.
Right.
The winds are so fast, to say the very least, and these conditions are changing in terms of which areas are affected. As we saw, the warning was extended till 6:45 in, I believe, Sussex County, correct?
Sussex County, right.
And then now 7 o'clock for Newcastle and Chester counties.
Yeah, Newcastle, Chester, and you can see, of course, the difference, right, between the warnings that we have going on, the severe thunderstorm warnings, lots of lightning associated with them, and then Marvin will take us down to East Nottingham, just to the south of there, just to the north of Elkton as well. So I would say, we're going to follow this line first. Okay,
I was going to highlight, Michelle, that although we are watching this particular tornado warning right now moving across Chester County, Pennsylvania, and also into northern Delaware, we cannot forget that most of the urban corridor right now is currently under a severe thunderstorm warning. Now, with that being said, you can clearly see the many locations that are basically going to be receiving the impacts of wind. We've been talking about this particular line, Michelle, being a very potent one for damaging winds. That's going to be the main concern with the line that's going to be impacting most of the metro area here in Philadelphia. But of course, part of the line did decide to get its act together differently. And of course, that is the particular area where we are noticing that tornado warning, of course. And that is the case in areas farther to the south across Chester County. So let me go ahead and see if I can get another scan here, Michelle. Notice that severe thunderstorm warning, the box you just pulled up, that's until 7:30 Eastern time.
Okay, so all right, so I'm hearing word that we have some strong, did you say video? Live pictures from King of Prussia from that line, Marvin, that we were just talking about, that we just showed you. Wow, that intense lightning as well. This is why even if it's a severe thunderstorm, stay away from the windows. You can see the rain coming down, the rain on the lens. I'm sure you can hear the thunder just crackling out there. Again, this is a linear. This is a line really that is capable of producing some of those tornadoes. But really, even with this straight line here, I'm worried about some of that straight line wind damage. It can be sometimes even worse than a tornado, some of the straight line wind damage. So Westchester heading through your area. And again, this is tracking so fast, 50, 60 miles per hour. So that was some pretty intense live pictures that we were seeing there. So let's go ahead, though, and focus back on our active tornado warning that we have here. We'll take you in just around Calvert and also Newark as well, where we can zoom in. Looks like some pretty heavy precipitation there from Calvert down to Childs, Fair Hill as well. This is like just to the north of I-95. Boy, I would say if this is not the time to be traveling. If you're listening on your app or if you know someone, tell them pull off if you can to the side of the road. Do not drive in these conditions, especially with some of the strong gusts we have. Looking like the velocity signature going on at this time here. So let's check out where we're looking at that center of rotation. So that does include Fair Hill, heads up for you, 648 moving across your area. Looking like Newark, that's going to be 659. Pike Creek 704, Arundel 707, tracking east as we said. And this one, Marvin, did you mention that this was a little slower or this one was still moving pretty quickly?
This one in particular has a movement to the east at about 35 miles per hour. So it is definitely not the fastest nor the slowest supercell we've been tracking this afternoon. Of course, the first one from about half an hour ago over in Delaware, it started at 50 miles per hour, then it switched over to 35. And right now, the newest tornado warning that we have in this particular area is moving to the east at about 35 miles per hour. And Michelle, I know we've been talking about this cell, but I do want you to, I'm going to try to move the radar here a little bit farther north because I am seeing yet another box firing up here across the Trenton area. So you can clearly see this is again part of the line that Michelle was talking about. We're talking about Bucks County, this particular location already within a new tornado watch, and this is going to be the case up until I believe it's going to be 7:15. There you go. Thank you, Michelle, for pulling that up. I'm looking at some of the information here, and of course, Trenton, that is a location that is currently under this tornado warned cell that is, of course, part of the line and will be moving over towards the east. Michelle?
Yeah, so this is our third tornado warning of the evening since we've been on with you since right when our news started at 6 o'clock here. We've had 3 now so far. This is the newest one issued by the National Weather Service. Again, this is for Bucks County, Burlington, Mercer County. We mentioned, hey, heads up for you guys, how you have this line of nasty storms coming through. I mean, you saw some of that live pictures coming in from Westchester. That goes until 7:15. So you're looking at 3/4 inch size of hail associated with this very heavy rain. Look at all the lightning as well. Let's see with this one if we can turn on the velocity signature here. Okay, so Northampton for you. This is moving right across your area right at this time. You can see that center of circulation that's going on right now. You can see those bright greens and those reds, those tightly compacted colors coming together. So it does look like some weak rotation at this time. I'm hearing that this is just radar confirmed. I don't believe that we have any actual confirmation of a tornado. So again, this is radar confirmed that we have that rotation that had issued the tornado warning. So again, heads up for places like Trenton. And Marvin, let's track this one out if we can so we can kind of see. I'll track it out for you. What's the speed or the direction? Is it? I'm guessing this one is east as well.
Yeah, it is east, Michelle, at 35 miles per hour. This is the particular. Well, actually, you know what? 40. I'm sorry. The one that we're looking at on screen right now is 40 miles per hour, moving to the east, and we are noticing perhaps the most impressive velocity signature that we have seen out of the 3, Michelle, because clearly we can see some intense greens and we can see some of the reds very close as well. So again, we're not getting any confirmation as of right now of a tornado on the ground. At least I'm not seeing anything yet here coming in across the chat, but I think radar does give us a very clear indication that we have spin happening in this particular cell. And this is just a reminder for everyone across all of New Jersey, everyone in the Pennsylvania suburbs, and everyone in Delaware that it is basically the entire region that is currently under a tornado watch until 10 o'clock this evening. So we're talking about quite an active setup right now. We have the line of thunderstorms moving across the Pennsylvania suburbs. This line will continue to slide towards the east. And of course, ahead of the line, and Michelle, that's exactly what we've seen mainly ahead of the line. Yeah. That's where some of the supercells have actually started spinning, and they have been producing these tornado warned systems. The one in particularly covering the Trenton area, that one, of course, is part of the line as well.
Yeah, so I just want to reiterate where we have these. So that's for Bucks, Burlington, Mercer County. again, that does go until 7:15. Let's kind of move this out of the way and kind of make it so we can kind of track this out again. There's that velocity signature that's just so jarring, because you can just tell that there's definitely rotation. There's so much wind energy out there, guys. We were talking about the damaging winds. That was our primary threat with this. So again, if you are within these lines, within this red box, you need to find the lowest portion of your home. You need to go to a bathroom. If you can, get some sort of pillows to take with you, anything like that. I've been saying it sounds silly to grab something like a pot, but really you need to protect your head. You need to grab your shoes. Just turn up the volume on your TV, or turn up the volume on your app, and take your phone with you wherever you are going to get to where your safe space is. So this is for Trenton, 708, this storm moving east, and again at 35 miles per hour, as Marvin was saying, or 40 miles per hour. And then Lawrence, 714 for you. So also, again, not the time to travel. This is going right over 295 at this time. I mentioned areas around 95. Wilmington, heads up for you. Watching this in particular here. Working its way across Newcastle County. That's going to be stretching in at this time toward Wilmington. This is one that we need to continue to watch, any of these with rotation, because I think that these could be extended or potentially carry on over. So I know that you guys have, a tornado watch in place. And so even if it's not currently happening right now for you, like it is for others, you need to take it seriously, like it will be, like it's going to be. So we're pretty much watching this. This is 651 for Glen Farms, Pike Creek at 658, Albertson 705, and again, Wilmington in your direction around 7-11. So find some ways, grab your things right now, and then get to where you need to go. All right, Marvin, what is the latest that we have right now?
Yeah, I was going to say, Michelle, maybe you can pull up the velocity again there on your end while I look at the chat here, because I do want to let viewers know that there are two particular areas that we are watching. Radar indicated tornado across southeast Pennsylvania, putting Newcastle County, Delaware, and Chester County in Pennsylvania until 7 p.m. Eastern time. This is the particular location that Michelle is showing on screen. But of course, we are also looking at that additional cell farther to the north that covers Burlington County in Pennsylvania, Burlington, Mercer in New Jersey, and Bucks County in Pennsylvania. And this particular cell is showing rotation as well. And this tornado warning is in effect until 7:15 p.m. Eastern time. So this is just to highlight that there are two locations that we are following along with the line, Michelle, where we are seeing the spin in the atmosphere, where we are seeing some of the action happening as of right now. So this is probably the most ideal view of our camera angle here that highlights both of those locations. So again, I do want to reiterate the fact that right now, Wilmington, you are not under this tornado warning. However, we have seen this particular structure, this particular storm moving towards the east. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get an extension to this tornado warning as the system continues to trek to the east at about 35 miles per hour. Now, the one a little bit farther to the north and east, we're talking about near the I-95 corridor over in Mercer County and Burlington County. The one to the northeast of Philadelphia, that cell is moving at 40 miles per hour. And of course, Michelle, we know that that particular cell is also in effect until 7:15 p.m. Eastern time. So do not go outdoor and do not go outside to investigate the situation yourself. Take this very serious. And of course, the velocity, Michelle, you are showing the very distinct colors here. We have almost green versus red, and this is basically the different direction in the wind speed. I mean, it's clear. We have green going one way, red going the other way. So this is the indication that there is that spin within the storm, something that we knew the atmosphere was going to be capable of doing, considering the very big picture. Because Michelle, this is obviously on the local level. We're noticing this particular scenario with both of the tornado warnings, but we know there is a very large system across the entire Northeast that will continue to give us those ideal conditions, perhaps for even more tornadoes to develop in the next couple of hours. I want to remind our viewers that that tornado watch continues in effect until 10 p.m. Eastern time. So before we zoom in and give you an overview again of every tornado warning that we have in effect at the moment, I do want to highlight and Michelle, if you can point out the line. I mean, the line is there, and we are seeing some of the little kinks, some of the little breaks in the lines, and it is those little breaks that are, of course, putting us under that risk for tornadoes. Even if you are not in a tornado warned area, note that this particular line of storms is capable of producing damaging wind gusts up to 65 miles per hour. So if you're in Philadelphia, there are currently no tornado warnings for you. But if you get stuck in that line, if you get that drenching line of rain moving across your area, if you're on the highway, visibility could drop as low as less than a quarter of a mile. So obviously conditions under such circumstances are not the best for anyone to be out there on the roads. Slippery travel with those wet roads, low visibility, and of course the gusty winds, which sometimes can be an issue for large profile vehicles. And even if we don't get any tornadoes, know that those particular windy conditions could be knocking down trees, power lines. Power outages have been a concern across the entire area.
And I do want to say, Marvin, if anyone is in Philly right now and you live in a high rise, now's the time to think about where can I go, right? So if you're in a high rise, you need to find shelter maybe on a lower floor, a lower level if you can. And again, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible, because if you looked out the window and you look to the northwest, I mean, I can see it on our sky cams right now, how ominous it's looking out there. So I know, Rosemary, I'm getting word that you actually have some live pictures or video that's coming in.
We have a bit of both, Michelle. We'll give the two of you a moment to get back to the Weather Center and keep an eye on everything. So these are some images that just came into us not too long ago from our director, one of our directors here at NBC10, Ori Hicks. He's in Claymont, Delaware. As you can see, these skies, they're just becoming more ominous by the moment. Certainly in Philadelphia and other parts of the region where it was sunny this afternoon, very different picture now. Let's get to some live pictures. I believe these are from Philadelphia. So as you can see, thunder, lightning, you can see the lightning. Obviously, we're hearing the thunder, and you can see those dark clouds. And this is one of our cameras, right there in Center City, that's just shaking in that wind, those strong winds, those wind gusts that meteorologist Michelle Rotella and meteorologist Marvin Gomez have been telling us about. You know, I've been doing my best, the two of you, to tweet and put notices on Facebook as you guys are coming in with these warnings. And just to be clear to our viewers who may not be familiar with what a tornado watch is versus what a tornado warning is, our entire region is under a tornado watch right now. If it becomes a tornado warning, that means it's happening. Seek shelter, take action. This is some more live pictures into our newsroom from our cameras that are fanned out all across our area. This is in Center City, Philadelphia. You can see those dark clouds moving in. Meteorologist Michelle Rotella just told us a moment ago that if you are in a high rise in Philadelphia, start thinking about a safe place to go. Certainly get down from the upper floors if you can come down to one of the lower floors, or if you have to stay in your apartment, go to the center of your apartment, could be the bathroom. A lot of times in these situations, Michelle, we hear people talk about getting in the tub, get in the bathtub. Yeah. And as you said, if you can bring pillows with you, something to help protect you, protect your head, that's the most important key here. And I do want to point out, as both of you have been explaining to our viewers, you may be in a tornado watch right now. Again, our entire region is. It may become a tornado warning. That's what we've been seeing since we got on the air tonight at 6 o'clock. Now we have tornado warnings for Mercer, right? Yeah. Bucks counties, and we saw Chester, Newcastle earlier coming out of Kent, Sussex. So this thing is moving fast.
And it's not just one area, like you said, it's the whole area. And then within this line, this monstrous line that we're tracking for this damage, embedded in there, you have these supercells that can develop. And again, the atmosphere is just so ripe for it. We had a feeling that this was going to happen, though we hope that it doesn't happen. But it is coming to fruition here. So I know we're looking at, I believe, this. Are we still on the velocity signature here? For this is the one across Mercer County, the tornado warning that we have here that you were just mentioning. So this is 703 Morrisville for you. Trenton, heads up for you. And I'll just go ahead and I'll highlight the area as well, so you know what I'm talking about. So you could see it's now to the east of Northampton, to the north of Bensalem, and so we're going to watch this work its way across Trenton, Hamilton Square as well, East Windsor. That's 719 for you, 725 for Millstone. Again, this is tracking east at is this still moving at 40 miles per hour, Marvin?
The latest information that I'm seeing here, Michelle, is 50 miles per hour.
Miles.
So a little bit
a little bit.
Yes, a little bit of a difference, and I am also starting to see as well. The fact that, this particular cell is capable of producing hailstones at about 3/4 of an inch. And right now, this particular tornado warning is in effect for Burlington and Camden County across New Jersey and even the northern section of Philadelphia as well. That's been an area where we are seeing parts of the line currently moving through as well. And Michelle, I am seeing, we have another box farther to the south that just came up as well. Maybe we can clear it out. We are seeing that a large tree came down blocking Bell's Mill Road. This is in the Endora section of Philadelphia County. So even if you are not experiencing this tornado warning at the moment, know that the line of thunderstorms that continues to slide towards the east is bringing those damaging wind gusts that is knocking down trees, bringing down power lines. Power outages, of course, have been a concern. And obviously, Michelle, most importantly, the tornado warnings that continue to fire up. This is the fourth one that we are seeing right now across Burlington County in New Jersey, just to the immediate east of Philadelphia. It seems like it's crossing the river right now.
I want to go ahead and actually query that for a minute. So that's yeah. So this is for Burlington. Okay, so this is for Camden County. So those in Camden County really need to seek shelter immediately as we continue to follow this area of severe weather. This rotation. This is indicated by radar indicated, and you can kind of see that brighter spot that you can see just to the south there of I-95 to the northwest of Morristown. You can see that. So again, going to query this for you. And that goes
Here we are, Philadelphia County in that as well, Michelle.
Yeah, so that goes until 7:30. This cell as well, Marvin, are we getting word on how fast this one is going? Again, it's been anywhere from 40 plus miles per hour. You can see, wow, the cameras are shaking right now.
Yeah, they are.
Michelle, we're talking about this particular tornado warned cell moving to the southeast at about 50 miles per hour.
It did look a little different, like it was going in a different direction.
It's not giving us the typical east direction that we have seen with some of the previous tornado warned systems, but nevertheless, we know there is rotation. Radar is picking that up, and the movement of this particular cell is to the southeast at 50 miles per hour. Of course, this is a more populated area, so in general, if you are in Burlington, Camden County, or Burlington and Camden County, even Philadelphia, the eastern side of Philadelphia, this is the time for you to seek shelter immediately. And of course, our cameras across the city, it's a whole different scenario. It was just sunny about 2 hours ago.
And people are probably saying, what were you talking about? This is what we were talking about. So Cinnamons and heads up for you. Morristown, as we mentioned, starting to see that rotation, getting closer to your area. That's 708, 716 for Mount Laurel, West Hampton 719, Beaverville 731, Pemberton 734, and then we continue down Country Lake Estates. You have some time, but again, this cell moving a little bit differently than the other ones that were moving in an eastward fashion. This one is basically moving southeast, as Marvin mentioned. So noticing that some of these are picking up a little bit in speed, and that one still looks like it has some rotation with it as well. I want to go ahead and, so it looks like we're zooming out here. So that's got to be our fourth or fifth one, the one that's just been issued there. Yeah, our fourth one. That, and I also caught word that we had some video. Is that true, as I was hearing? That we have some video?
We do have some video. We certainly had that video of the funnel in Bridgeville, Delaware. We had some still pictures coming to us from Claymont. And then, NBC10 reporter Deanna Duranci, she just sent us this video of some hail. This is obviously out in the suburbs. This is Fort Washington, Montgomery County. But as you can see, those sunny skies that we had earlier today have completely shifted. And now we have this severe weather. Let's go back to some of our live cameras across Philadelphia. As you just heard meteorologist Michelle Rotella and meteorologist Marvin Gomez tell us, there is a new tornado warning. This means seek shelter now. We're talking about Philadelphia, Camden, Burlington counties, and this is a live picture. You can see the top of City Hall right there. Billy Penn, this is one of our other cameras in Philadelphia. You can see it shaking in those strong wind gusts. We've got lightning, there's thunder. You saw just out in the suburbs, there's hail, some pretty decent sized hail out in Fort Washington, Montgomery County. Those images, that video sent to us by NBC10 reporter Deanna Duranci. These are incredible images, Michelle and Marvin, given what we had earlier today. But that's precisely the point. Yeah. All those conditions, the rain in the morning, the warm weather, it is creating this atmosphere for these tornadoes to pop up. And we've now seen four warnings across our region. Go ahead, Marvin.
And I will say, Rosemary, that the entire day I mentioned that the sun was going to be very deceiving, and the sun was not going to be a good sign on a day like today, considering that the sun basically provided the heating of the surface. And whenever we have the heating of the surface, we create an unstable environment, and we know that unstable environment means the air mass will start to rise and thunderstorms will start to develop. So when I saw the sunshine, which was plenty of it this afternoon, I knew we had enough energy, enough heating for a situation in a scenario like this. And this was something that, of course, was part of the forecast. The sunshine, the sunny conditions, not a good situation to see, or not an ideal setup. And of course, it can be very deceiving, because I think a lot of people, and I did see some messages in my social media of people thinking that perhaps the danger was over, when in reality this was just part of the beginning of the setup leading to this potentially dangerous situation as of right now. Now, I am seeing the chat here, and of course, we continue to talk about this radar indicated tornado for Burlington and Mercer counties across New Jersey and Bucks County in Pennsylvania. And this is going to be the case until 7:15 p.m. Eastern time.
Let's track out the one, though. I want to track out the one that's like south of Mercer County, because that was the newest one.
Yeah, Michelle, correct. That was the newest one, and that one is currently moving to the southeast at about 55 miles per hour.
So that's pretty quick. Okay.
Yes, it is moving very quickly. And of course, we're starting to see some of those reports of wind gusts over 54 knots in a couple of locations. Philadelphia's International Airport, this is the latest report I have right now. At the airport in Philadelphia, we're getting a report of a wind gust of 54 miles per hour from the northwest. So this is just part of the line currently moving across the metro area.
Let's though time out some of these places. Pemberton, we were talking about 728, and we have Burrs Mill at 735, Browns Mill as well. I'm just watching that camera shake over there. It just the sky is like black across the city right now at this time. But again, hopefully, if you are within the warned areas, you're maybe watching us on your phone, but you're in your safe place. And
we should point out, Michelle, just looking at these pictures. I mean, I'm looking at this camera right behind me. If you are out on 95, 76, pull over, right? I mean, get somewhere safe.
It's
if you're
not
driving, get somewhere safe. You know someone driving, tell them to pull over.
I mean, it's blinding rain. You can't drive in this at all. So, all right. So let's take this hour by hour here, because I wouldn't say we're out of the woods just yet. I know we've been with you for over 60 minutes, because we started right at the news at 6, and it was like, hey, we know you guys are starting the news. Let's start the tornado warnings. Here we go. And that's exactly what happened. But this is the line that we're watching right now starting to cross its way over, that we saw start across the Lehigh Valley, moving across the suburbs. We're seeing that all kind of coming together, and this is kind of a linear fashion, if you will. And so when this kind of happens, could we still get some tornado warnings? Yeah, I do, but I think that's possible. But I also think that we could potentially get some of the straight line wind damage working its way across South Jersey. That's around 8 o'clock. And again, look how fast this goes. By 10 o'clock, we're all said and done, and this is all basically behind us, besides some lingering showers across the area. So let's go ahead and let's take it back a little bit, Marvin, if we can, just to get back to the bigger picture of what we're seeing here, so we can kind of look at the whole thing of all the watches and the warnings that we have going on. I know the tornado watch that we have until 10 p.m. We have a severe thunderstorm watch as well, but we have these 2 active tornado warnings, and look how closely these cells are together. Again, Rosemary, as you mentioned, this is 295 that we're seeing that on. So,
and Michelle and Marvin, I bring up certainly people driving, because right now this is being broadcast on KYW News Radio. Obviously, KYW, one of our partners. So if you are listening to this, you are listening to meteorologist, NBC10 meteorologist Michelle Rotella, Marvin Gomez. They are bringing in all this information. We are looking at all of our images across the area, video that's coming in, and they are keeping us up to date on all of the tornado warnings that are happening. So again, tornado warning, seek shelter, take action. Yeah. This could be happening in your neighborhood any moment. This is happening now. Right? I mean, this is happening. That's the difference between the watch and the warning, which we've been trying to just really reiterate all evening long here with you guys. So, all right. So the one to the north there, you're looking at I-95 Trenton points north. This one that you're seeing just to the south of Trenton, that's tracking its way to the east. Again, that's for Burlington County, Mercer County, Monmouth County.
And Ocean County as well, heads up for you. You are now included in that tornado warning. Looks like that's been extended until 7:45, and rightfully so. I'm looking at these cells that look pretty nasty.
Yeah, that is correct, Michelle. As you mentioned, this particular cell has been extended. The tornado warning now covers parts of northwestern Ocean County, and this is a particular system currently near Trenton, moving to the east at about 40 miles per hour. So there are indications of rotation within this particular cell, but as you know, it's starting to appear that it is trying to merge into more of a linear structure.
It does look that way.
However, we're not going to, sit here and only guess it's one or the other. Let's just treat this as a dangerous situation, and let's have everybody seek shelter in all of the locations that we're showing.
I mean, nonetheless, as we said, whether it was a tornado warning or a straight line wind damage, sometimes straight line wind damage can be worse. I mentioned those cells look like they're getting pretty close together and merging, and so, this is what I'm looking at when that's tracking that out. Hold on, let me just erase that for you and turn on the line so we can kind of draw this out. So this is the area that I'm looking at here around Chesterfield that you can see. Just the bright colors indicative of some of that rotation. And let's zoom in here. Let's get really close so we can kind of tell people where you're probably seeing some of the strongest winds right now occurring. And you can kind of see some of that rotation too. Crosswicks, I hope you are in your safe place. If not, please get there immediately right now because that is where we are seeing some of that rotation. Down to Chesterfield as well. Ellisdale, heads up for you. Robbinsville, you're in that as well. New Sharon, you're in that too. So this is an area that we are continuously watching. This is just one of the ongoing tornado warnings until 7:45. And again, that's including a few extra counties now because this has been extended. So I'll go ahead and I'll zoom out for you so you can see pretty much what we have going on here. Marvin, you want to go ahead and there you go. Yeah, zoom out, and then maybe we can get down here. Still a lot of heavy rain on the backside of this too. All right, so here's the line. These are the ongoing tornado warnings. Still having severe thunderstorm warnings down across Kent County, Newcastle County. Look at the line just blasting its way through. Hey, South Jersey, places like Cumberland County, Cape May County, Atlantic County, you're in this path. Heads up for you. If you're watching us right now, I know a lot of people might be watching March Madness, still ongoing. You might be having these parties. Unfortunately, I know the storms are kind of raining on your party here, but you really need to just take this seriously. So from now to the east of Wilmington, Odessa, down through Chestertown, you are still seeing these severe thunderstorm warnings. Philadelphia is still seeing that, and you can see how it's extending up across parts of Gloucester County, Camden County. And I say, look how far out this is. I'll see if I can zoom out, kind of like move this a little bit so you can see just around 295 Southampton area how the severe thunderstorm watch and even the warnings are now extending all the way out past Burlington County and Atlantic County, and that's because this is the direction that the storms are going. It's been east or it's been southeast, and we've been seeing them race at 50 to 60 miles per hour. So let's go ahead and
Michelle,
do you have another one?
Yes, I want to highlight the fact that we have this very noticeable line of thunderstorms currently moving over towards the east. The structure itself is currently moving towards the east at about 40 miles per hour. So even if your current location is not facing that immediate threat for a tornado, know that the damaging winds from the line will be pressing across the entire metro area of Philadelphia and eventually slide over into South Jersey. Michelle? Yeah,
that's what I was saying. They put out these severe thunderstorm warnings out ahead to tell you, hey, heads up, as Rosemary and I have been saying, this is what you need to do if this happens into your area and you are within this path of the line that Marvin was just talking about. So that does mean places like Vineland, heads up for you, 739, Manchester, 744, Millville, 746. You have this large area of severe thunderstorm warnings, and then embedded in that you have those 2 tornado warnings that we are following and that we continue to follow. So Medford, you're right there in the middle of that tornado warning, and then as Rosemary said, right along I-95, it's probably just torrential downpours. I'm looking at our cameras right now. You can just see it coming down.
And people have pulled, we've got a camera behind us in the studio of Broad Street. People have pulled over on Broad Street. Obviously, the rain not as severe right in Center City, but still. Let's give you some images that are coming. Let's show you some images that are coming into our newsroom. This is some video of some of these stormy conditions. This is out of Jenkintown, Montgomery County. Lightning. Obviously, we saw hail not too far away in Fort Washington. And again, we've been talking about this for days now, really. You've been making us aware that a first alert was going to be in effect for tornado watch and tornado warnings. And here we go. We know that there's a tornado warning in Philadelphia, Camden, Burlington County. This is that video that I just mentioned a moment ago of the hail coming down in Fort Washington not too long ago. And then we also have some more video that came into our NBC10 newsroom. This is out of Bridgeville, Sussex County in Delaware. This was sent to us probably at the beginning of, or toward the beginning of when these warnings came into effect. Obviously, we saw the first one come out of Sussex, Kent County, and now, as we can see, this system is moving from west to east.
Right.
And we're starting to see these warnings pop up in other places. As we just mentioned, the latest in Burlington, Camden, and Philadelphia counties.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and tap on the screen and bring up. Let's see if we can bring this up, Marvin, if you can.
And real quickly, Michelle, as you guys are getting that ready, this video is coming to us from one of our crews in the field, Eric Cheevers. I believe he is in Storm Force 10, and he is getting us some video. This is on the, I believe, Delaware Memorial Bridge on 295. And as you can see, that range is coming down. Dark skies out there, very ominous. And as we know, there have been these tornado warnings that have popped up that started in southern Delaware and now are making their way across our region. Yeah, so parts of southern Delaware and then also parts of the Lehigh Valley. We saw them way earlier this afternoon when we came in across central Pennsylvania. And then at one take, it kind of looked like it was dying down a little bit. But then once those storms worked into our area, the environment was just so favorable. You had the sunshine come out, as we mentioned. That really heated things up. Our dew points have been in the 60s. All right, so let's go ahead and, hold on, I'm just going to go ahead and clear this out so we can follow one at a time the tornado warnings that we have. But they are pretty close together. So it's like 295 and 95. It's just a mess right now, and a very serious situation that you're looking at. So, all right, let's start with what we have here that is now well to the east of Trenton for this first tornado warning here. That still includes parts of Burlington, Mercer, Monmouth, and Ocean County. You can see, even if it's not near Ocean County just yet, that is heading in your direction. These have been traveling to the east at a pretty quick clip here, as we've been saying. Now, that particular tornado warned area goes until 7:45. It looks like we have a newly updated tornado just warning here around Pemberton. So I'll go ahead and I'll query that so we can kind of get the latest on that one. Okay, so that one is just for Burlington. That goes until 7:30. But I think probably what I want to do is kind of zoom in here right across where this new area is so we can see where that heavy rain is at this time, where that rotation is. I want to go ahead and turn on the velocity signature so I can see. All right, so Pemberton, just a heads up for you. You are in that area. You are probably seeing some of the stronger winds right now with that rotation. Again, get to that lowest portion of your home. Many of you might have a basement. We mentioned the bathrooms. We mentioned all of those areas. New Hanover, Browns Mills has up for you. A lot of these are tracking to the east again at it was like 40 to 50 miles per hour, Marvin, that we were watching this?
Yeah, that is correct, Michelle. We're talking about a system moving to the south, at least with the one to the north, moving to the east at about 40 miles per hour. And as you mentioned, this particular cell has extended the tornado warning until 7:45 p.m. Eastern time. And that includes Burlington, Mercer, Ocean, and Monmouth County as well across New Jersey. And this is going to be a cell that, of course, is part of the line. Even if we don't have any official tornado damage, some of the wind damage here could be very similar to a tornado, so not the most ideal scenario. And of course, we're starting to see some of the reports in our chat here with the National Weather Service indicating reports of one in particular says a tree into a house, and this is across North Cleveland Road in Newark, Delaware. So this is a little bit farther south. Yeah. This is a little bit farther south where it's basically just wind damage at this point. But we know that this particular tornado warning that is in place for Mercer, Monmouth, and Ocean County will expire at 7:45 p.m. Eastern time. And this is just part of that squall line capable of producing both tornadoes and extensive straight-line wind damage. And of course, we know those conditions are happening at the moment. And it was located about 14 miles to the east of Trenton, moving to the east at about 45 miles per hour.
Yeah. Yeah, and you could really see that rotation right here.
A quick note to our viewers and listeners, Marvin and Michelle, of course, we are on the air right now on NBC10. We are also on the air with our partners at KYW News Radio. And of course, we are streaming on the NBC10 app.
All right. Those are many ways that you can find us and get this information that we are telling you about, this important information, this life-saving information for you. 2 active tornado warnings, several severe thunderstorm warnings, all of that still extended down the shore through Toms River, Burlington County, down to the south as well. Upper Freehold, heads up for you. That was an area that I was watching that had some very strong winds and some of that rotation that was going on as well. Midwood, looking like you can really kind of
195, Michelle. Anyone driving on 195 right now? This is a location we need to avoid. Anyone out there at this moment or heading in that direction, anyone there on the road along 195, if you are basically east of Burkesville in New Jersey, you need to get away from the highway and you need to seek shelter immediately because we have this tornado warned system. It's part of the line, so know that this storm is quickly racing towards the east. And once again, Michelle, although we do not have any well-defined circulation in particular, but we can clearly see how the line of storms is very quick. It's quickly moving and, of course, shows that very drastic change in wind direction.
Yeah, you can kind of see just the inflow and the outflow, right? You can see the winds going toward the radar signature, right? And then you can kind of see winds going away from it. And that's when you kind of get this center of circulation here, if you will. That's, again, right around areas of, what is that, I-195 that you're seeing that on. So this is where we tell you, pull off, it's not worth it. Don't drive when you have torrential downpours where you can't see. It might be a rain-wrapped tornado. All of these are just radar indicated at this time, except for the one that we know was confirmed down in Kent County and Sussex County at this time. Also, what I'm noticing here is kind of the bending and the bowing of a lot of these winds, and that just really kind of goes to show you that you can see just the excess of winds just gusting out ahead here. So Upper Freehold, you're seeing that rotation or that wind, the strongest ones, Kirby's Mill, move across your area right now. Heads up Red Valley as well to you. Hornerstown, you're seeing that too. So again, all this tracking to the east at this time. Let's go ahead and kind of zoom out. I want to give a wider picture here at this time, just kind of see what we're working with. So anyone's tuning in, that we have just those 2 tornado warnings that have been ongoing until 7:45. We also are still following this one. Hey, I mentioned Country Lake Estates. That was for you a while ago that it was like, hey, heads up. You are now starting to see that tornado warned area get closer into your region. So Presidential Lake Estates, heads up for you. Browns Mills, you are just moments away from seeing this heavy rain and these strong gusty winds work their way into your area. So that includes Burlington County. Again, that goes until 7:30 here. We'll see if that gets extended because a lot of these tornado warnings have been getting extended. That's how strong the line is. Oh, let's see if we can go ahead and zoom out, Marvin, just a little bit. And get just a wider picture of what's going on here. So yeah, so again, Burlington County for you, also stretching down across parts of Camden County. You're probably experiencing the very heavy rain right now. Gloucester County, this is going to eventually stretch its way down into Cape May County. I mean, look at this impressive line that it goes even north of the ones that we're seeing here past Trenton. That just continuously goes down all the way through Delaware at this time.
From Maryland all the way to New York, basically.
I mean, we could probably even get the ruler and the measuring tool out here on one of our tools there on Max, and we could just kind of see the line here. There you go. I mean, look at this line, Rosemary.
Wow.
124 miles stretch here that we're seeing, this line of storms that is working its way, whether it's east or just east-southeast, a little smidge. That's what we're seeing. And then within the lines, you can kind of see the bowing segments, and that's where we get worried about some of those strong gusty winds.
And, it's interesting, Michelle and Marvin, because I've been getting, obviously, texts and tweets from people across the area. I've got family out in Delaware County, and they tell me, bad storm-like conditions came through here, and now we can see the sun. And that's why we're not talking about Delaware County, because they, at least at the moment, appear to be in the clear. I've got another relative who's down the shore. She's in Avalanche. She said, we've got sunny skies.
No.
It's a very quick moving system. And,
and
Michelle,
and deceiving, as you said, Marvin, in terms terms of what people saw maybe 10 minutes ago and what's happening now, and certainly earlier today. Yes.
Yeah.
It was Mother Nature's way of giving us an April Fool's with the sunshine earlier today.
It is April.
Hey, real quickly before we get back to the maps, guys, we do want to give you some new video that just came into us. This is from Andorra. So this is some of that. Wow, look at that hail just coming down. This comes to us from one of our producers, I believe, Jason Rothman, who's out in Andorra. So over in Philly, as we said, parts of Philadelphia County have that tornado warning.
Yes.
And we're certainly seeing these incredible
the hail.
Storm-like conditions, just these big pieces of hail that are coming down from the sky. We saw very similar images coming to us from Fort Washington, Montgomery County, obviously not too far away from Andorra. We got those images earlier from NBC10 reporter Deanna Durante. And we've had so much feedback from certainly members of our own teams here at NBC10 and Telemundo 62, and also viewers who are safely gathering pictures sort of before the storms come in. And as we've been talking about since we've been on the air since 6 o'clock, this is fast moving. So at 6 o'clock, I think we were just starting to see our first, literally as we hit the air at 6, our first tornado warning pop up in Kent and Sussex counties in Delaware. And then since then, we have seen now what, four or five?
Yeah, 4 or 5.
And extensions too with some of the ones that were issued.
And we still have these two that are ongoing there for Burlington County, for Mercer County as well. And then, of course, this is stretching its way out. Parts of Ocean County are included in that. And those are tracking their way east at 50 to 60 or 40 to 50 miles per hour, rather. But they're moving at such a quick clip. It doesn't surprise me that, you know, people out there across the Lehigh Valley are saying, oh, well, it's past us now. And I did think that this was going to happen here. We were thinking around, you know, between that window of like 6 and 8.
5 and 8, yeah.
Yeah, where we were like, you know, this is when this is going to come through, and then really tomorrow will just be a completely different setup, and you'll just wonder what happened here. So yeah, you wanted to go ahead and I
was going to ask Michelle if you can point out for our viewers the particular kink here, very close to 195, where we are of course expecting, or where the location where we could be seeing some of that rotation, because you got to keep in mind that this is a line of thunderstorms racing towards the east, but perhaps one segment of the line can move ahead a little bit faster than the other, and that's when we start to see those bulges in the line, Michelle, and that's when we can potentially generate a little bit of rotation. So I'm glad you made that big circle here across Francis Mills, because this is one location where we could be talking about that potential spin in the storm that could generate the tornado.
Yeah, and you are seeing those really bright greens and also those reds where we kind of get that coming together. That's where we usually sense, okay, you know, something is rotating here, something is coming together, something is becoming compact. So really that's when you can detect the winds that are going toward the radar and the winds that are going away from the radar as well. So that's the area of Burkesville right now. You're seeing that Vista Center heads up for you. You can start to see that this is really just straight, like almost east around I-95 that we're watching. Kind of this take place here. So I'm hoping that anyone who's listening, like you said, so people are listening in, you know, if you are near Vista Center, near Howell even, we're watching this rotation that is just to the west of you. So if you're thinking I'm driving and it's fine right now, if you are heading to the west, you're going like directly into it. I would say pull off if you can, find a place to seek shelter. If you can, a fast food restaurant, anywhere where you can kind of get indoors and put all those walls between you and the outside. All right, so let's go ahead and, Rosemary, I know we've been talking about this all day long, so we just want to kind of reiterate, reform, keep you guys safe. What are some things that people can do?
Yeah, we certainly want to make sure that our viewers and listeners who may be just tuning in are getting this important information. Here's what you should do if your area is in a tornado warning, which again means take action, seek shelter, it's happening. If you're home, go to the basement. Get away from the higher levels of your house. If you have a second floor, stay away. First floor, stay away if you can. If you don't have a basement, take shelter in a small room in the center of your house. So think about a closet, think about a bathroom. Stay away from the walls, stay away from the windows, stay away from the doors, obviously, because you heard Marvin and Michelle tell us just a moment ago, those winds could be gusting up to, 60 miles an hour? And so if that's coming through your window, you know what else is coming, a lot of debris. We heard from meteorologist Michelle Rotella and meteorologist Marvin Gomez, that these storms, this line of storms, and now obviously these tornadoes, they are popping up, they are moving quickly. So you may be fine for a moment, and then you're not. So continue to watch us on the air, watch us on the app, and you may also be listening to us on KYW News Radio, because we are constantly updating as information is coming in. I should say to our viewers who are watching us on NBC10, you're seeing a lot of Michelle. Marvin, we're hearing you. That's because you're behind the scenes in the NBC10 First Alert Weather Center.
It's a team effort.
Gathering a lot of information that's coming in digitally.
Yeah. Okay. Wait, Marvin, I want to go back. We want to go ahead and reiterate the counties that are currently at this time under a tornado warning. It's imperative that we just kind of reiterate which counties those are, because this is such a fast changing situation. So let me go ahead and turn this tool on and query this for you. Interstate I-95, I just hope that you are just pulled off to the side there, because it just looks like torrential downpours. So again, this is for Mercer County. This is for Monmouth County, Ocean County, and again, this goes until 7:45. So hail up to 3/4 of an inch in diameter. We know winds have been in excess of 60 miles per hour, especially with severe thunderstorm criteria. It's just automatically above 55 miles per hour, so you know that it's higher than that. So that is for that one cell.
That is the only one that we have left,
okay,
Michelle. So good news.
The
other
it's dropped
one,
off. Okay.
The other tornado warning that we had a little bit farther south across Cumberland County was canceled just a few seconds ago.
It doesn't surprise me though, Marvin. Actually, I want to zoom out a little bit that this one is continuing with us because of that Boeing kind of signature that you're seeing here. So I really want to turn on the velocity signature and just kind of get in to a closer look so we can kind of see what's going on here. So really look at just what we're seeing here. Very strong winds across the area. I'll let you go ahead. So it looks like it's around Jackson at this time. Around I-95, you can kind of see some of that strong wind, but also let's go ahead. So that's the wind that we're looking at, that tightly compacted area, some very strong winds. And now let's kind of track this out if we can. You said that this one in particular was going
this one's going towards the east, yes, towards the east at about 40 miles per hour.
Okay.
And with this particular system, if we continue to track this location over towards the east, I don't know if Michelle, you can grab that there.
Yeah, let me go ahead and I'll time this out. You said east?
Correct.
Okay. So at this time, we know that rotation was close to Jackson, and you said it was east. So let's go ahead and see. So I mentioned Vista Center earlier. That was for you at 7:35. Lake Club at 7:41. Land of Pines, 7:44. Lakewood as well. I think another thing to do is also just kind of, Marvin, if you want to use the squall line and track this out, we can kind of get more neighborhoods that way, because even though it's one particular cell, it's kind of not, because this is all kind of coming together at this time.
Yes,
so,
yeah, you know,
and look at that extension.
I was going to say, Michelle, before I do the whole line, let's talk about this extension that we just got, in particular for this cell, very close to the close to the 195 highway here, going eastbound. That is the direction that the storm is currently heading to, and the tornado warning, as you just brought it up, Michelle, has been extended until 8 p.m. and this is going to be for Monmouth and Ocean County. And of course, Michelle, I think it's a matter of 10-15 minutes before we see this line reaching the coastline.
Yeah, this is probably going to get out into the water pretty quickly here. So let me just go ahead and query that one more time so we can get that to come up here. So yeah, it's Monmouth, Ocean County. You mentioned until 8 o'clock here. And then let's go ahead and I'll zoom in just a little bit here on this area that I'm looking at. One area that's just like bowing out here that I think that you're going to see some just intense winds. We mentioned that rotation was around Jackson, and now I can kind of see, you can kind of see how those winds are out ahead of it. Lakewood, seek shelter immediately. Get to the lowest portion of your home, like we've been saying. All those walls between you and the outside. Get to your bathtub if you can. I'm just watching this. This is going to blow through your area. I hope you brought in like all the patio furniture, the trash bins, all of those things, and kind of secured them earlier today, like we told you to. because it wouldn't surprise me if maybe we start to get some storm reports from that area in particular, just by seeing some of those very strong gusty winds. So again,
let me show you, Michelle, the track of this particular cell moving to the east right now at about 55 miles per hour. So as I mentioned, it's just a matter of time before some of these communities here will start to experience the wind. And know that even if there isn't an official tornado moving across your neighborhood, we see the line. This is a line of strong winds coming with these storms. And of course, those winds are capable of creating similar damage to a tornado, Michelle. And sometimes it could even be worse.
Yeah, sometimes it can be worse. So you track this out. Let's go ahead and name these off in case maybe you're just listening to us, right? Because you need to know if this is coming into your direction. So Ramtown, heads up for you. This is at 7:39 that it'll be entering your area. Spring Lake Heights, that's 7:46. You got a little more time, but you need to get there now. You need to gather all your things now. Coventry Square, this is pretty much imminent for you as well. And Point Pleasant, you're looking at 7:44. So again, this is the same tornado warning that we've been watching, that we've been following. And again, that has been extended now. And you can see the eastward direction that we've been following with all of these storms. But those winds just to the north of Toms River.
We have a new one, Michelle, right here from Woodland all the way eastward. A new tornado warning that just came up as well. Let me see if I can give you some.
That almost looks like it was one of the ones that we had
that was canceled.
Before, that was canceled, and kind of it.
And it has resurfaced.
And you know why? Down the shore, as Rosemary was saying, she has people saying, yeah, it was sunny. It was, it took a little longer for you guys to clear out from the clouds and rain earlier today, and then basically you saw the sunshine that's lasted for you a little bit longer, and you had just a chance to also warm up, but also dew points down there. You have a little bit more moisture to work with. So this doesn't surprise me that it was kind of reignited here. So we'll just go ahead.
This one, Michelle, is moving 55 miles per hour towards the east. So let me see if I can get you here some towns that are in the path of this potential
I'll go
tornado.
Go ahead and check that out.
Let me see if give me 1 second here before. Okay, I got it. There we go, towards the east at 55 miles per hour. Woodland, of course, is one of those locations that is currently receiving the rain, but this is not going to be the only spot on the map where we're going to see the activity with the damaging winds and the potential for rotation as part of the line that continues to race towards the east at about 40 to 45 miles per hour. Michelle?
All right, so we're watching this line in particular. We still have the one up north there for parts of Ocean County. Still, that Boeing segment's still getting me because it still looks like that's pretty intense wind. And now we're tracking this new area. Forked River heads up for you, Route 9. I know you might think nothing is going on now, but it is just off to the west for you. So you really need to just keep your eyes to the sky there and stay weather aware and can listen to us for what we're talking about. So Rosemary, I'm getting word that we have some new video that's coming in. Is that correct?
Yeah, we do. Michelle and Marvin, we've got some video and images coming to us from really all across our region. So this video is out of Mullica Hill, Gloucester County. You can see just that heavy rain, that lightning, dark, ominous skies. And keep in mind, this time of night, it should, in theory, still be light outside. But obviously we have these just terrible stormy conditions, and as we know, in many places, these tornado warnings that are happening. Again, this video to us from Mullica Hill, Gloucester County. Let's go to our next image. This is out of Conshohocken. I think this is some more hail. Yeah, you can see some of that hail. You can see it that's accumulated on the ground. And we saw similar images to this out of not far away, Fort Washington and Dora. So even areas that are not necessarily in the tornado warning, you've been in a tornado watch. And as we know, there have been stormy conditions, obviously the thunder, the lightning, and in some places they're seeing the wind, of course, and they're seeing these large pieces of hail come down from the sky.
I will say, excuse me, Michelle, sorry to interrupt you, and Rosemary, one of the things that I'm noticing here in the chat right now is an emergency manager is reporting from the line of storms that continues to move towards the east a little bit farther south. We're talking about Newark in Newcastle County, Delaware. An emergency manager here reported just a few minutes ago from the line of storms multiple trees into houses. So that is because, again, of that line of storms.
Yeah, so you guys, I got great segue. Here we go. Yeah, so we just got this image to us not too long ago from NBC10 Delaware Bureau reporter Tim Furlong. His daughter actually took this picture. This is on, and Marvin, I'm not sure if you're seeing any specifics of the info coming in, but this is on Dallam Road. This is in Newark, Newcastle County. So yeah, as you can see, trees down, and we know that there was a tornado warning earlier. I believe It's expired for Newcastle County. So
that is correct.
Not surprising that we're seeing this kind of damage there.
I mean, and not even just in the tornado warnings, we're probably going to continue to get some storm reports in here as you usually do at these situations, even until tomorrow, when you start to get like official reports of, you know, what happened and where. So. And that line, I mean, you can see that line though, Marvin, that line that like rolled right on through Newark and Lower Alloways Creek that we were just tracking. So that is just so quickly it's moving here off to the east-southeast. And
I want to say, Michelle, that for the residents across South Jersey, locations such as Vineland, you're getting some of the soaking rain right now from those storms, the line of storms moving over towards the east. So even though we do not have any reports from locations such as Vineland or Hamilton, these are going to be spots where we could see a little bit of we could see a little bit of damage here in the next couple of moments, because this is part of that potent line as well. And obviously, Michelle, the worst part of the line is this particular area here that I'm basically putting on the frame where you are right now.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pause the radar so we can get an idea of, let me see if I can just do, maybe you can there.
There we go.
Okay, I paused it. All right, so because this is the area that Marvin and I are talking about here that is still under that tornado warned area. So looks like Garden State Parkway for you. This is just blasting through the area. And so that goes through Brick, Anchorage, heads up for you. Dover Beach is north as well. You are included in that tornado warning again. I know it's not happening right now, but you're going to experience the winds kick up first, then the rain move in, and then it happens really quickly, and then it's gone before you know it. That's why we tell you, act now. If you have that tornado warning, it gives you a little bit of some of that lead time to get to where you need to go. But right now, it is currently heading to the east, as Marvin mentioned there. So.
And the line of storms, Michelle, I'm seeing here some of the severe thunderstorm warnings, very close to those tornado warnings. The line of storms here is capable of producing damaging winds, wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour. So we're almost talking about the intensity of hurricane intensity with some of the wind gusts that are currently most likely happening in some of these counties and some of these communities here across South and Central New Jersey as the line of storms continues to slide over towards the east.
And you can kind of see that bowing even with the way that the severe thunderstorm warnings have been issued. Can you kind of see this out here? I'll kind of draw this out for you with the way that the severe thunderstorm warnings are going, and that's because we're getting just these winds that are just blasting across the area here, where we're seeing some of that stronger rotation, of course, is embedded with those tornado warned areas. So let me see, I can turn on the velocity really quickly. All right, so if I zoom in here to where I think it was Brick that I was looking at just a few moments ago, I'm seeing some really, really intense, there's Brick. Okay, so Brick, you're looking at Route 70, 35, Bayhead, Manasquan, right across this area. This is where we're seeing some of that potential rotation here, some of those very strong winds as well. So this is an area that if you're listening, I hope that you're seeking shelter there and finding your safe place, because that's where you're getting some of those strong, potentially damaging winds across the region. We mentioned I-95. That has been a location as well where it has just been coming down. In fact, I'll turn on the radar so we can kind of see. Okay, so that is just, it's such intense rain, Marvin, right now.
Yeah, Michelle, that is correct. And again, this is a tornado warned part of the line that it is currently moving to the east at about 55 miles per hour. And Michelle, I mentioned 10 minutes ago that it was going to take about that amount of time for the wall of rain to eventually make its way towards the coast. And that is exactly what we are starting to see here in parts of Ocean County. We got to keep in mind that this tornado warning is in effect until 8 p.m. Eastern time. So another 15 minutes or so, And of course, farther to the north, we're tracking yet another part of the line where we are seeing a little bit of rotation. And of course, that includes parts of northern Ocean County and Monmouth County, just to the south of Neptune. That's where we see some of the intense rainfall at the moment, and a lot of lightning, Michelle. That's kind of something that just caught my attention right now along 195, and that's one of the highways that we've been highlighting very heavily here in the last couple of moments.
Yeah, let's see if we can. Let me see if I'm trying to get this tool. If you can just kind of, I don't know, click out of that. There we go. And, kind of click this back in. Trying to zoom out for you really quickly. Go ahead and kind of zoom out if you can, just a little bit, so we can get that going again.
Yeah, let me go ahead and...
Okay, so we're still watching. This new tornado warning was the extension of the one that we saw that pressed through Jackson at the time when we mentioned Brick. Look at all the lightning to the northwest of you. You can see that. That's Neptune that Marvin was just talking about around the Lakewood area. So again, this is still stretching its way now into Ocean County. Like you said, I don't think it's long before this works its way out into the ocean. It's just going to blast through here. Let's head south a little and talk about this tornado warning and pay some attention to this one. I just want to get the latest on this one, and I just kind of queried, use the tool. It takes a second to kind of pop up here. So again, that's for Burlington County and Ocean County, and this is still going until 8 p.m. With this cell, you're getting that hail as well. You saw the hail video, 3/4 of an inch in diameter, so you're looking at quarter-size hail with some of these tornado-warned storms. So I think the only one that we have actual confirmation for is the one in Kent County and Sussex County. Yeah, Delaware. So
we had confirmation for
everything else was just kind of radar indicated at this point, and I'm sure we will continue to just look at the damage and see what we're looking at. Is it straight line wind damage, or was there a tornado? But for now, that has just been radar indicated.
Yes, Michelle, I'm wondering if we can take the Atlantic City camera, the AC camera. Perhaps our production team can help us out with that, because one of the things that I'm noticing in this camera, although it is not raining at the moment, but it does show the clouds that are already starting to move over towards the east. And of course, this is part of the line segment in Atlantic City. We can get the camera up. We can actually see already some of those clouds associated with the storm rolling in, and that's going to be one spot where we are anticipating to see some of the rain. Obviously, in Atlantic City, things are quiet right now, but it is just
not for long.
Not for long, exactly. It's going to be another 10 minutes before we can actually get some of those conditions. Again, I think the camera that we are seeing right now is the that's the Hard Rock casino camera and resort, so you can actually see some of the flashing there in the background, which is actually kind of cool. So it's coming. It's
cool, but also this just dangerous as well. And now it wouldn't surprise me if the severe thunderstorm warnings that we're seeing right now, Atlantic City's not included in that, but it's probably only a matter of time before they kind of extend this line out as the line inches closer. So,
and sorry, Michelle, but I think if we get a closer view here in our radar of Atlantic City, as you mentioned, currently there are no severe thunderstorm warnings. However, if you just drive 10 miles towards the east,
you're in that. You're like in Harbor, you're on the fringe. Yeah, you're seeing that across Route 40, 30 as well. Buena Vista, you're seeing that. Mullica, seeing some of that rain just now starting to pick up with that heavy rain, and some light rain starting to stretch its way into Mays Landing at this time. So again, not just yet in Atlantic City, but if you looked out the window at this time, face west, face northwest, face west, you would see some of those ominous dark clouds here. It wouldn't surprise me if maybe you even saw like a shelf cloud because of these strong gusty winds that are just gusting out ahead of this in some of those Boeing segments that we were talking about here. So this is a pretty large line that we are following. Maybe we can get the tool out again, Marvin, and just kind of go over like how long of a stretch this is. Let's see if you can zoom out and look at the radar as a whole and kind of pause it and time out the stretch of storms.
Correct, Michelle. Let me get there in just a second. But as always, we want to remind everybody that a tornado watch is still in effect until 10 p.m. for most of South Jersey. The Pennsylvania suburbs are already out of that threat. So the danger has basically come to an end for everyone in Pennsylvania. That's the good news. But as you mentioned, Michelle, this is quite the line. If we measure all the way from, let's say, Dover, stretching all the way towards Monmouth County in New Jersey, we're talking about a line that stretches from southwest to the northeast, about 112
and you're not
miles.
you're not even including parts of eastern Maryland.
Correct. Yeah, I'm excluding Maryland in this particular measurement.
This time. But in a lot of those storms, though, in those cells have been working their way up from the southwest to the northeast. So, and then the line as well has been coming together. All right, so I'm getting word that we have some new video in. Rosemary, is that true?
Yeah, we do. This just came to us from West Calhoun Township. This is in Chester County. Take a look. This comes to us from Sarah Smith. You can see very similar conditions to what we saw in other parts of the suburbs. So you've got that hail, you've got the heavy rain. Obviously, we had thunder and lightning. And, you know, I think this speaks to the fact that no matter where you are, we were calling for a tornado watch for the entire region. And then we saw those tornado warnings, meaning a tornado is possible, it's imminent in various spots throughout our region. Let's give you another look right now. This is a live look, I believe, down the shore in AC and Atlantic City. And you can, from our Hard Rock camera, and you can see, I mean, it's dark skies. Obviously, the sun would be going down relatively soon, but it's been dark skies down the shore. You can see some lightning off in the distance. Yeah, and you know, I think you made a good point, Michelle, just a moment ago. Certainly, if you're driving, and we know some of the people who are listening to our broadcast, our KYW News Radio listeners, obviously they are one of our news partners. They are our news partner. And if you are in the car, and let's say you're on the Garden State or you're on Route 9, AC Expressway, and you're heading north, just beware that obviously this
especially the Garden State Parkway.
Right. I mean, these line of storms are just moving fast.
And that's where I just was zooming into was the Garden State Parkway, because that it's just the heavy rain, and just that's where we had a part of the tornado warned storm that was ongoing. Thanks so much for pulling up both of these so we can kind of see this at the same time, Marvin. Okay, so we're talking about this one that is now well to the east of Lakewood at this time, almost across the water, almost. But this is still at play here until 8 o'clock for Monmouth County, Ocean County. Wow, hail the size up to an inch in diameter. So, you know, you're looking at bigger than quarter size hail, or, you know, around that at this point here. Just to the south and maybe a little bit to the west, if you will, you have the other tornado warned storm here. And so that is just for Ocean County, just to the north of Ship Bottom there. And you can see that has hail that is up to 3/4 of an inch in diameter. So that one's going in. Both of these until 8 p.m. Why? Because they're most likely moving at the same rate. They're going in the same direction, and then they're going out into the ocean. It wouldn't surprise me if maybe we get a water spout or two. And if we zoom out a little bit, you can kind of see kind of the aftermath of what's going on here, because you're still going to have some you have rain cooled air, and you're still going to have some of the slight precip across parts of our suburbs, across parts of South Jersey at this time, like Camden County and Gloucester County. You're still seeing some pretty steady rain, but that severe threat is now beyond you. But this line is still ongoing.
It's still a very well-defined line, Michelle. I mean, we see the reds, we see the yellows, the oranges, the intensity of the rain capable of drastically dropping visibility for any of the drivers right now across South Jersey. And of course, Michelle, as you mentioned, there are still those two boxes in the red that we are watching near Toms River, essentially one to the north of Toms River and another one to the south. The one to the north, Michelle, moving to the east at 60 miles per hour. And I think obviously that gives, seeing the visuals here, we can see that obviously it is a little bit farther ahead than the one to the south, because the one in the south is only moving to the east at about 55 miles per hour. So it's just a matter of minutes here before we finally get these tornado warned cells away from the coast and into the ocean. And the only thing that's going to be left behind will be the heavy rain and the threat for damaging winds for locations such as Molokai, Atlantic City, and everyone along the shore. You are not seeing any of the rain or the wind, but it is just a few minutes away. So if you're walking near the shore, this is the time for you to head indoors, because there is a lot of lightning being produced by some of these storms, and we're certainly seeing some flashes in both of our Atlantic City cameras. The one over at the Hard Rock Casino, and another one that of course shows the view of the boardwalk, where currently we're not seeing rain, but it's going to be quite a downpour here in just a matter of minutes.
Let's kind of talk about the velocity for that one to the south, as you mentioned, that we've been tracking out here. So you're looking at, I just kind of highlighted where that bright red area is, because that is where we're seeing just the strongest gusts, the bursts of winds right now. I'm not seeing too much inflow with that. I'm just seeing a lot of outflow of winds with that. So good news when it comes to maybe some of that rotation is weakening, and obviously it's working its way offshore, but you're still having some of those very strong winds. So go ahead and, time that out. So now we're kind of getting down to the nitty gritty, you know, because this is slowly getting offshore here, but you're looking at Bayside Beach at 7:57. Bobby's Boats heads up for you. That's at 8:05. So again, just I'd say within the next 15 to 30 minutes, we're going to see this, Marvin, working its way offshore. Imagine how fast you go in your car. I mean, these are going 50 to 60 miles per hour. So there's not much left for this as we continue to track them all the way just out there into the ocean. I want to go ahead and kind of zoom out here and just kind of clear things out, get back to the radar so we can talk about, in general, just the line of heavy rain that we're seeing here as a whole. And maybe also let's touch on the fact that we have seen some of the tornado watches drop off for counties. I think that's important, just so you can kind of have a sigh of just a relief here. Can you pull up the tornado watch map so we can see which counties have now been canceled out of that, Marvin?
Yes, that is correct, Michelle.
Real quickly, Michelle and Marvin, I'm just obviously monitoring our newsroom email, and Tim Furlong is sending in some pictures to us that just got cleared, so we're going to turn them around and put them on the air in just a moment, from one of our viewers, Rusty Reed, who is in Ellendale, which, as you know,
where
is
we were talking about.
one of the first areas we talked about in terms of the tornado warning. And the images that I'm seeing in our email, which we will turn around and put on the air in just a moment, just flattened homes.
Wow. And that was the one that we were talking about. That was the confirmed tornado.
So we'll, as soon as we get those images, we'll flip them around and share them with you. And they are, of course, in the aftermath of the storm coming through. So people going out and taking pictures, certainly after the severe weather has passed.
And I'm still sure that they will go out there and they have to survey that so they can tell you.
The National Weather Service.
The National Weather Service is going to go out there and tell you, was this an EF0, an EF1, kind of what the strength was, and also looking at the damage that was done as well. At this time, it does look like, though, that parts of Delaware, like Newcastle County, Sussex County, Kent County, you are still in the tornado watch. So you can't let up just yet. And South Jersey, you are still in that tornado watch. However, from Philadelphia, points on north and west, this is especially across the Lehigh Valley, this has been over for you for quite some time. You saw that starting earlier again. We've almost been with you for 2 hours now that we've been seeing this, but it's good to see that this line is becoming slimmer, more narrow, still down to Cape May County, that you're seeing the severe thunderstorm watches and even some of those warnings now. Okay, so look how we mentioned Marvin. If you were in Atlantic City, take a look to the northwest, because you saw the ominous clouds, the severe thunderstorm warning getting closer to your area, and now you are in that severe thunderstorm warning, correct?
Yeah, that is correct, Michelle. We have that severe thunderstorm warning, and we know that those storms are just to the immediate west. So if we look in particular to the severe thunderstorm warning in effect here for Atlantic City, it covers Atlantic, Cape May, Cumberland, and Ocean counties, the entire coastline, essentially, Michelle. And the good news is that we are seeing the line quickly make its way towards the coast, which means that at least the most dangerous conditions that we're tracking at the moment will soon be coming to an end. So not only are we looking at the heavy rain that's going to be pressing across the region, but of course there is a lot of lightning that we are seeing with that line right there, Michelle. And of course the hail is a concern across the region as well.
Yeah, hail has been a threat that has been associated with all of these storms. We mentioned that. We mentioned yesterday, you know that some of our biggest threats were going to be the damaging winds and also the very heavy rain. We had hail in there, and this morning, early afternoon, upped that as well to moderate because we saw the intensity that was coming. We saw what we might be seeing as far as size of hail, so that's why we upped that to more of a moderate level here. And we were in the slight risk earlier today, and just by looking at how much wind energy that we have and kind of at feeling that, we saw the sunshine, we got that heating going, the dew points were rising, we kind of knew that we had to up that. The National Weather Service did, and good call on that for that, just that enhanced risk of severe weather, meaning multiple tornado warnings that we could see across the area, and that's exactly what we've seen since 6 o'clock here, going on 2 hours now. So, about 4 or 5 tornado warnings, and still pretty much the entire area was under a severe thunderstorm warning for today.
And Michelle, I'm getting a word that the tornado warning here for Ocean County has been canceled.
Okay,
so
great.
At this point, we only have the one that's a little bit farther to the north, but
okay.
Nevertheless, we got to highlight that we still have this line of storms that's about to make its way towards the shore. Right now, most of the coastline is not receiving the rain, but it's just a matter of minutes. I think in the next 5 minutes, Atlantic City will be receiving the soaking rain, and Cape May perhaps another 10 to 15 minutes before you get the powerful line of storms bringing damaging winds and heavy rain in that particular spot in South Jersey in Cape May.
All right, before we kind of leave you be, just one more look at that tornado watch, since it does go till 10 p.m. I just kind of want to leave on this note that some of you, while this main line is gone, and it will be gone, I'd say, in the next 15 to 30 minutes, until then, we do still have the tornado watch until 10 p.m. But of course, we'll be keeping you posted online as well and on some social media with what is going on with the latest. But that has been the threat that we have been following, that we were talking about, Rosemary, pretty much since a few days ago. We were saying, hey, storms, and then it just kind of came to fruition today.
All right, meteorologist Michelle Rotella, meteorologist Marvin Gomez, we appreciate you keeping all of our viewers and listeners informed of this very important information. We appreciate you staying with us as we go. We give you some live images from across our area. This, of course, down Atlantic City, where you can still see some lightning in the distance. And again, our region still under that tornado watch until 10 o'clock tonight. We will be back here on the air tonight at 11 o'clock this evening. And of course, you can also follow us on the NBC10 app and NBC10.com. Thanks for being with us. Stay safe. We'll see you tonight at 11.